Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Pregame show presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Stuckmeyer, Delmendo, and Herrera all in the building.
Ooh, I like it when you say my
for the start of a new series. Cubs on the road for the first time this season.
Back, baby.
For 2 games against the Pirates starting tonight. We will have post-game after the game tonight. And Corey and Brennan will have post-game after the game tomorrow. And then it's on the road to another road trip. Let's start with the news of the day. Obviously, this kind of morphs over from yesterday and the suspensions handed down. So David Ross will serve his suspension for the beanball, whatever you want to call it, with the Brewers handed down yesterday. Keegan Thompson got 3 games. Ross 1 game. Thompson's going to appeal his. Ross is just going to take it and miss tonight's game. I'll be interested to see if that number changes. We had a long conversation about this yesterday, right? Like whether or not it was right, whether it was wrong, what were the factors in it. I have an opinion on this. I'm curious what you guys think of the 3 games in 1 game for Ross and Thompson about the beanball.
Well, I think the 1 game was going to be like automatic as soon as you get a pitcher toss. Like it feels like just the manager will get the 1-2. I
agree with that. I think the manager's right.
I'm curious what went into like if 3 is like normal. I don't know if 3 game suspension is like a normal thing for pitchers that get tossed for throwing at hitters. That's something I'm curious. Like, do a lot of guys get 2? Is it like I don't know what the average is, I guess, but 3 feels long. I think I was saying like he's probably gonna get 2. So 3 felt long. I mean, he's probably going to appeal it down to 2. So you might see him today until that process is over. But 3 feels long to me for just I don't know. 3 games feel like a lot.
For hitting the guy in the butt after
I think he's going to appeal that down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, when it comes to these types of suspensions, I feel like the MLB always finds a way to shoot itself in the foot. So I'm not surprised that Keegan Thompson got 3 games, and the Astros guys who cheated never got anything.
That's what I was going to get
it's
to.
It's a tale as old as time, man. So, again, Keegan Thompson for Chicago mayor. It is what it is. He's appealing it. He probably gets it down to 2 games. I still don't regret anything I said yesterday. It is what it is. That's what I got on this.
All I want from Major League Baseball is some consistency.
Yeah.
I don't like if you want to give 3 games for hitting a guy in the rump with a baseball, fine. I don't care. That might be the right punishment. But you can't not suspend anybody, not a single player, for cheating in the World Series then. You've already set the precedent that nothing is wrong in baseball when you don't suspend a player for cheating in the World Series blatantly.
Well, didn't they give him like immunity or something? Which I'm not saying I agree with.
Yes,
but wasn't that like the reason why no one got suspended? I'm like, that's
you
just
didn't
a weird.
need it for all those guys. You only needed immunity for one of those guys.
It was just a weird.
Once one guy caved and was like, "Yep, we cheated," you didn't need it for every other player on the team.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird thing at the time. Was like players admitted it. Like they had like, the investigation found they cheated, but no one. So when you found out, it's like, oh, all the players had immunity and whatever. I was like, what? Like, really?
Yes.
But this is like, I mean,
again, this is
different story.
It's
4
not
years later, 5 years later, whatever it is.
It's not the first suspension from that. I'm just saying, like, anytime anybody gets suspended now, the response is going to be, well, what about the Astros?
Yeah.
You know, that's why you should have done it back then. You should have picked out any player that was on that team and just been suspended. And it would have thrown off the beginning of the season for sure.
Tough.
So what? I mean, you know, White Sox paid their price for throwing the World Series. What's the difference between cheating the World Series and throwing the World Series? Like,
right.
I will never understand that. And so anytime somebody gets suspended, I just don't.
Yeah. Harley asks, didn't the same thing happen last season with Rossi getting a suspension? I assume he's talking about the Tapera one early in the season also. Yeah. Fairly certain.
But again, at least the manager paid a price for the Astros scandal.
Yeah.
You know, lost his job, was out for a whole season. Like, you know, there were penalties for that. For the players, there's nothing. And it's 4 years later or 3 years later, whatever it is. Again, hitting a guy in a rump, 3 games. cheating in the World Series, nothing and immunity.
Yeah.
That seems a little strange.
Doesn't seem right.
So and he's going to appeal. So I think you're right, Ryan. I bet it goes down to 2 games. But again,
Keegan's going to appeal.
Still 1 game too many for me.
Well, it's also like pitchers like he just wasn't going to pitch these next 2 games anyway. Like I don't know.
Right. But 3 games makes you you're definitely missing time.
That affects your bullpen. I was gonna say how Ross uses it, but he's not gonna appeal suspension. He's taking it. He did the same thing with Tapera last year. Just kind of took the 1 game and
I assume Andy Green will be the manager.
Yeah, Andy
today.
Green likely will be the manager. I haven't seen that on Twitter yet, but he was acting manager last year when Ross had got COVID. So Andy Green will probably be in there just for today. Ross back tomorrow. So it doesn't seem like Ross, like, he's not appealing it, so he's like, whatever, I'll take it. And again, it's like, I think that's like assumed that if you get a pitcher toss and they kind of like they were intentionally throwing, then it's the manager's going to get that 1 game at least for whatever.
I like what Harley's saying in his comments shown on the screen right now. Ridiculous how there isn't any repercussions for the Brewers and what they've done to Willie. And like, whether I'm being a biased Homer fan or not, like, I don't see how anyone else can disagree with that as well. Like, if you're like, I get it, they're suspending Thompson because he clearly did it on purpose, and they suspended Ross because he probably said it was okay to do it. But like, the fact that there's nothing done to the Brewers at all after everything that's gone on with the history
why
of
not
the
just
Contreras
suspend both managers for
of
1
the
game?
Contreras stuff.
I'm saying that's just how it happens. That's all sports. Whoever retaliates is the one that gets the punishment. Like, it's not if you see, I don't know, a hypothetical situation, a Cubs pitcher hit Christian Yelich, and then the next inning a Brewers pitcher hits whoever, that's the retaliation. They'll probably get a Brewers suspension there, but the fact that Keegan Thompson pretty clearly retaliated, I mean, they said he didn't. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
He kind of threw at McCutchen twice in a row.
Yeah.
So just in the umpire's eyes and in MLB's eyes, the fact that he did it on purpose, or what they see it as he did it on purpose in retaliation, that's why. I mean, Brewers, I did not expect any Brewers to get suspension regardless of the 15 times they've hit Wilson Contreras in his career.
Doesn't make it right, Ryan.
I'm saying it's like,
I'm not surprised either.
Anyone
by any of it.
that expected a Milwaukee suspension, like, that just wasn't going to happen because they weren't the retaliators in the situation. Is that the right word? I don't even know if that's a word, but
I think
it's just
basically from my view and Harley's view and anyone else
Tristan's point too. If they would have done something about the Brewers earlier, maybe this wouldn't be.
Perhaps, yes. I just think that there had to be something done with the Brewers for the Cubs to only get punished for this. And again, I'm saying the Cubs only getting punished for this with the history, like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. Like, let's all be honest. Does it matter that David Ross isn't managing tonight?
No,
absolutely not. Why even bother with suspending the manager? Like, is it really hurting the Cubs like today that they're not going to have David Ross on the bench
in the 4th game of the year?
I mean, just stick to player suspensions. If you're going to suspend it,
you got to send a message, Luke. You got to send a message.
But that's not even a message because the game's going to be almost not different at all. He can still send messages from the clubhouse or wherever he's at, and like
maybe he'll take the pitch com thing. He's like,
he should just run it. Curveball down. He's calling the game. Wilson's not even calling the game. I don't know. The whole thing is just sort of silly. It's like baseball does have some funny unwritten rules that continue forever, and it's got some written rules that also aren't followed. So like, what's it's my least favorite part of the game are the written rules and the unwritten rules that don't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, because if, like you said, if there was like consistency or transparency, like if there's like you toss him a game, you get 3 game suspension, like that's different.
Right.
I don't know. It's
you
just,
hit a guy in the head, you're gone for the season.
Yeah,
on purpose. You do it on purpose.
Or
whatever. I'm
just a
joking, not for a whole season.
But. A lack of consistency is what is like. You'd like to see more consistency out of that, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm ready to move on from that.
Look at Mike Dubs sitting on a plane watching us from 31,000 feet.
Dubs.
So we've gone international. We've been to Denmark, Ireland. Where was the other country? England. And now 31,000 feet. He could be anywhere right now, 31,000 feet. He's like
Mike
Air Force
gets to
One.
see my pale-ass legs from 31,000 feet. Congratulations, Dubs. It's really nice in Chicago today. I did not care. I was wearing shorts.
We Didn't even mention my Hawaiian. I debuted the Hawaiian on the show today.
No, I like that Hawaiian. That's a nice
This
one.
is a very good one. I got it from Kohl's, I think it was.
Very nice.
I
Very
told
nice.
you guys I'm not going to bring it out until the first really nice day in Chicago. When I got back from Arizona, here it is. We're 60-something degrees
It's
right
a beautiful
now.
day.
Joey,
today.
is
Great
it
day.
possible to find the Hawaii 5-0 theme song that every time Ryan wears a Hawaiian, we break out? Bum, 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 bum.
Noted. We'll work on it.
Thank you,
Hawaiian
appreciate
Ryan.
it. Hawaiian Ryan.
Hawaiian Ryan.
I love
Love
it.
Let's look at the lineup, not by David Ross today, because, he can't have any impact on this game. Somebody else had to make, players probably made their
Clearly.
own. They made their own lineup today. Clint Frazier leading off, DH, Contreras behind the plate, Wisdom at third, Schwindel at first. Let's just start with the first 5 guys in the lineup, because I do want to suggest this. How long in the season, let's just say trends continue the way they go, do you think we'll likely see Seiya and Wisdom flip spots in this lineup? Would that be a reasonable move after like a week or two, or maybe even less than that? If Seiya keeps hitting well and he's comfortable in where he's at, do you leave him where he's at because he's comfortable? That's like one of those tough
I think it gets
manager
to-
moves. I think you would move him up because you want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see that plate discipline before Schwindel comes up. I would like to see that guy on base who's willing to walk, work the count, batting third as opposed to fifth.
I think
I'm cool with him where he's at now.
I think
but
Suzuki, where you would like to have him, is either in that 2 or 3 hole. So
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it yesterday, having like your best hitter at 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. I think eventually, if he keeps up
Right.
what he's been doing, he will be there. It's just maybe they're kind of
yeah.
easing him in a little bit. by having
Agreed.
him
And I'm
fifth,
cool.
sixth,
I'm
whatever
good
it
with
is.
that. I'm good with that. I'm just saying, like, if this continues and he
Yeah.
continues to play this way and it goes 3-4 weeks and you can tell he's now comfortable, I think I'd be okay with, like, okay, now let's see how this works for you. And maybe they wait to see when the adjustments come from pitchers around the league, see how he does with that, and then give him a different spot in the lineup. I just don't think wherever they put him, I don't think it's a problem right now. I just think he's just based on 3 games alone, he seems like such a professional, and that he's got this approach at the plate that I'm not sure it matters to him where he's at. So it'd be something to keep an eye on. Now, Hermosillo gets his first start. That's something you've been calling for, Cody.
Oh yeah, and he's going up against a lefty. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked if he gets a couple hits today. So
Be nice to see.
It's kind of crazy that the first all righty lineup. I mean, I know
Yeah.
Ian Happ's a switch hitter, but it's all righties right now. Frazier, Contreras, Wisdom, Schwindel,
and
Suzuki, Madrigal, Hermosillo.
this is kind of
Happ.
we talk about Ian Happ trying to build that breakout year or full season or whatever. It's been notoriously talked about how he can't hit from the right side. That's why he's in the 8
One of
hole.
them.
But that's like this is another thing. Like he's got to prove that he can consistently hit right-handed. Again, I know he doesn't have the power from the right-hand side as much as he does from the left-hand side, but if he can just just be solid there, that only helps, because then you can put him in the lineup every day. I know in past years the Cubs had purposely only put him in against right-handed pitchers. So, with the roster the way it's constructed now, Ian Happ's going to be in the lineup every day. He should be in the lineup every day. So I'm not – if anyone who's upset about him being in the 8 hole, which I haven't seen anything or no one said anything to me, that is clearly why he's batting 8th.
I saw someone ask the question on Twitter why like Frazier and DH and Happ in left field after the
I was just
hit by
gonna say
pitch. I'm
that,
like,
yeah.
I'm curious. I mean, maybe even another day of Happ, give him a designated hitter like Clint Frazier hit take left field, just because I know he had the 2 days, and I know Ross said on Sunday that Happ could have played today, like he's feeling fine. He got the 2 days. Maybe that's just all it is like he feels good, and they put him in left field. But maybe another day off and let Frazier take left would have been.
Yeah.
I'll give a theory for it. You know how when you turn your ankle, whether you're playing basketball or running in baseball or whatever, and the worst thing you can do is let it sit too long, and it just like stiffens up. And so maybe sitting on the bench, he could go back into the clubhouse, ride a bike, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He could work on it. But being in the field, if he does feel okay, keeping that knee moving instead of it stiffening up, if it's still bothering him at all, maybe that's maybe that's just his choice. Maybe he would be like, I'd rather be out there moving around than sitting still and just coming up to bat every once in a while. I don't know.
That's a cure. I mean, it's probably nothing, honestly.
Yeah.
It's probably just reading too much into it. And that might be it.
Maybe the injury wasn't serious.
Yeah, I mean, the X-rays were negative. He said he was available for Sunday, so it might just be, let's put him back in left field.
Not serious for him. Life-threatening for me. That would have been like fastball to the knee. That's it. I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
I am interested to see Nick Madrigal batting 6th behind Suzuki, and the reason being is maybe with Suzuki ahead of him, that helps Madrigal in a way. I don't know. Maybe that's just me thinking, maybe overthinking, but I would have assumed he would have been, maybe in front of Happ or. Madrigal's off to a little bit of a slow start. It's only been 3 games, whatever, but I don't know. Him in that middle part, I'm not a big fan of. I like him more towards either the top or the bottom.
I don't know. I mean, it's what Joe Kilgallen was talking about too, like putting him in that 6-7 hole after the bigger hitters in the lineup could just having his contact bat in the lineup right after them. Could, I mean, that might be it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know exactly.
If you wanted me to nitpick, that's the one thing about it that I'm like, I would have liked to see. Like, if anything, maybe switch Horner and him out. Horner's off to a better start, but that's me nitpicking. Other than that, though, I like this lineup. If the Cubs could face left-handed pitching every single day, I would take this lineup.
We need to get Joe back on the podcast. I was wondering if I could call him Kilgs. Next time on, we better run that by him. I think he needs like a shortened nickname. Kilgallen. I think Kilgy would be better, right?
Perhaps.
Could go like Gallon, maybe.
Kilgs, Gals.
Gals.
Galzer?
Right.
Galzer.
Gallon.
We got to go a hockey nickname on
Right,
him.
Gallon with like the apostrophe at the beginning, almost type of thing.
Rachel wants that CHGO Hawaiian shirt day. It's coming. Don't worry. Mike Dubbs, heading from Florida to Minnesota, wanted to fly the W flag up and down the aisle, but FCC guidelines say no.
FAA. He corrected himself.
Yeah,
Good job,
FCC would just be foul language, most likely.
Yeah.
Or nudity on the podcast. We have Cody's legs.
He said
but that doesn't quite
FCC.
count.
Yeah, there you go.
He said FCC.
Ooh,
I'm
baby.
like, what are they doing up there?
What are they controlling in the sky?
FCC has called and said, Cody, too much leg on the podcast
There you
today. Too much leg. So let's talk about the reason that it's all righties is because our old friend, the steady Buick, Jose Quintana on the mound, and it's against Smiley. And I was thinking, like, how many teams have these guys been on? Like, just recently. So Drew Smiley has been on 4 teams since he was on the Cubs in 2018. All right. Major league teams. We're not even talking about guys that were on the minors. Jose Quintana, 2 seasons, 3 teams, and 2 DFAs.
Yep.
Well-traveled veterans going head-to-head, and both lefties. So this should be a good matchup today. Seems like they're somewhat similar guys.
And then I'm like, we've talked about the right-handed heavy lineup because I know Quintana last year, as far as splits go, I can't even load anything, but I know his year by year versus left-handed batters, batting average 2021 by itself, 152, 264 on base percentage, like 253 slugging. Very bad numbers against lefties last year, so I'm not surprised by the right-handed heavy lineup. Mm-hmm. So that's if those numbers kind of just keep on keeping on from 2021. I think you could see a big offensive day from the starting 9, just as far as Quintana struggled against lefties last year, and if that continues, you'll see it again today.
I mean,
should.
As pessimistic as most Cubs fans were going into the first series of the season against the Brewers and their big 3, I would say there's just as much optimism anytime you face the Pirates. And we've said it multiple times that if you're going to compete in this division, not only do you have to play better than 4 wins against the Brewers last year, which they're off to a good start there, you also have to continue to pound the Pirates and the Reds when you get that opportunity. 2 teams that clearly are not all in it to win it this year.
I think.
Well, I was gonna say I read the left-handed ones because they struggled against Quintana, but right-handed is like kind of crazy too. 344 batting average, 418 on base, 583 slug. I think I mixed them up in my head, but I'm talking about like lefties did really well last year, righties did not very well last year. So that's what the obvious split of going 9 righties against Quintana.
Right.
Go ahead. Sorry
Yeah.
to cut you off, Cody.
I was just gonna say I brought up the Pirates starting lineup, and I think we'll get a good idea of how good Smiley will be if he can get through that first inning pretty cleanly. They got Brian Hayes leading off, who I think is going to be a stud. Brian Reynolds, who we've talked about as one of their best players, I guess you could say. And then Michael Chavez is DHing, batting third. And as far as Smiley, I genuinely don't really know a lot. I don't really know what to expect from him. But if he can get through, if Smiley can give the Cubs 4 innings today, I will look at it as a positive. That's my expectation.
Especially considering a little late start to spring training and then getting thrown in the rotation. 4 innings, 5 would be very, especially considering no one else has gone more than 5 1/3. 5 from Smiley would be great, but I think 4 is a reasonable, if you can get through 4 solid innings, you're doing well.
And I know we talk about how the Pirates are bad, and I agree they are bad, but they do have some hitters. Like I said, Brian Hayes is going to be a stud. There's a reason they gave him an 8-year extension. They actually paid a guy.
This morning too.
Yeah. Kevin Newman we've talked about. He's decent. And then they even have, I didn't even know this, I just realized that they got Jake Marisnik in left field today, Cubs legend. And
once a Cub, always a Cub.
Yeah, and we saw last year the Cubs would use him against lefties, and he mashed lefties last year. So that's a guy to not take lightly. So yeah, the Cubs should win today. The Pirates, you got to beat the Pirates. Blah blah blah. But we can't they can't just go in there and just act like, oh, this is the Pirates, we're gonna beat them. You know what I mean? So, that's just kind of my 2 cents on the pitching matchup and their lineup. And I'd feel a lot better if it was Hendricks or Stroman or even Steele.
Well, this is how it is.
But this is how it is, right?
This is real life.
Tristan's
wondering, is there anything left in the tank to be, competent, keeping the Cubs in games? Well, we're going to find out.
We're going to find out because no one really knows, man. And
part of this is Alzolai's injury. Part of it's Alzolai's injury.
And Smiley was, he was serviceable for the Braves last year, who went on to win the World Series. So it's not like he hasn't pitched in big games and stuff like that. So, yeah.
We'll see.
If you're the Cubs, you're just hoping that he can be serviceable until Alzolai comes back.
Yeah, and then even today with Smiley, you have a rested bullpen. You had the day off on Monday, Sunday. How many was it? 3, 4 arms, but none more than an inning. You got Keegan Thompson will be able to pitch today because he's appealing his suspension. So you'll be able to have a couple guys that can take over a couple innings if needed. But again, you see what Smiley can do in 4 innings. If he can get you through 4, I think that's a good start to his season.
Yeah.
Real quick, the updates from Megan Montemurro. Speaking of pitching, it was that 2 of the starters were out there throwing. Alec Mills, 77 pitches Sunday. And Miley playing catch today. So that's positive, right?
Yeah, this is Maddie Lee, by the way. He said.
Oh, it was Maddie Lee. I'm sorry. Maddie Lee, yeah.
Maddie Lee. But they both tweeted it out. Just shout out both of them. Megan Montemurro, Maddie Lee.
All the beat reporters put it out there.
Yeah.
I forgot I was giving credit to Maddie Lee this time. Megan.
Alec Mills throwing 77 pitches today. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
He was someone that I didn't feel like we were going to – I didn't think he was going to be gone for a while. I felt like it was going to be maybe 1 or 2 times through the rotation. But they also didn't give us really a timetable really at all because it kind of just happened at the end of spring training, if I'm correct, Ryan. So
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so.
You want to talk about PointsBet for a second?
Yeah, I'll talk to you about PointsBet. Let me talk to you about how I'm taking the under on Jose Quintana strikeouts today.
What?
Opposing pitchers against the Cubs, strikeouts are 2-1 if you take the under to start the season. The only reason I know that is because I've been doing that in every game, and it's worked out so far. So anyway, you can make all those bets on PointsBet, which is the best way to support CHGO. Is if you download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO. When you sign up, if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com and we'll help you. Remember that PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. They even have a new exclusive feature, Live NBA Same-Game Parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. You can even boost your live same-game parlays And now online signup is available in Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. I say it every show. If Luke can do it, you all can do it too. I promise you, it's super fast and easy. Signing up with the fastest sportsbook is now easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. Use code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
What was that?
What was that?
Is that a new one?
That was a new one.
Bring me my money.
You don't understand how many we've got on here.
I know
for
the
the
You got to have show me the money on there, don't you?
Nah, the show me the money one is tough because there's a lot of like context around the sound effect.
Do you got the?
He's like yelling. He's like Jerry, and then he says it. It's
I'm
tough.
still okay with that.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Here comes the money.
I got
That's a good one.
What about
Or
the song?
Ted- or-
Money, 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 money.
That one. Ted DiBiase's money.
Hold on, Luke. I got this one.
Oh yeah.
Wait, hold on. Some of them are quiet.
a lot of good ones.
Money.
That's Brian Griffin.
Correct.
Brian Griffin.
Yeah.
Oh, we can pay him on that.
Speaking of PointsBet, last night, I don't know how it happens, but I won a bet, but PointsBet actually gave me a loss. All I did, though, was go right to their live chat and told them that there was something messed up on their app or something, and they credited me with a win with my bet. They fixed it right away. Yeah, so not everyone is perfect, so when you go through those things, make sure you just use the live chat, and they'll help you out.
Max is going Hap Suzuki to get a hit. Cubs money line parlay.
Ooh.
All right, so let's do that real quick before we end the pregame show. Who you got today? Who are we picking to be our star of the game?
I'll take Hermosillo.
You're going Hermosillo.
Yeah.
We should keep a tally on this, and Joey, you can be the decider.
Okay.
Whoever's producing that can decide who gets the point.
Yeah. I like it.
I'm gonna go Patrick Wisdom. I think he homers today. I think he homers today. So I'm not gonna say it's a lock. Won't say it's a lock. So if you're going to PointsBet and betting on Patrick Wisdom to homer, it's not my fault if he doesn't. But I think he's also gotten off to a little bit of a slow start. But Quintana, lefty versus righty matchup. There is that left center that's really deep in PNC Park, so he maybe has to get a little more to left field. But I think he goes deep today.
Oh, that whole ballpark smells like pierogies and garlic fries.
I love me some garlic
It's
fries.
a good ballpark for food. I'm torn here. I either want to stick with Suzuki because I think he may hammer Quintana, and then I also go, you know what? Frank the Tank isn't going to miss that Quintana soft stuff. I'm going to go Frank the Tank. I'm going to go outside the box. Go Frank the Tank.
How about Willie against the old battery mate?
Oh,
It's true.
we'll see.
Chip on the shoulder, maybe?
I don't think
Over under
who's pitching will give Wilson any more of a chip on his shoulder.
Over under 2.5 home runs for the Cubs today.
Over under 2.5.
Under.
I'll go under because I think they'll hit two.
I think probably Schwindel or maybe Suzuki and Wisdom. I think Wisdom homers solely because again
So Wisdom,
Quintana's
Frank
not,
the Tank, Hermosillo. That's what we're picking.
Yeah.
All right.
Quintana's
Joe,
not-
you want in on this? No, you can't be. You're the impartial
What do you
judge.
want?
Sorry,
I
you're out.
picked Wilson.
Okay, well, you can pick Wilson, but
Okay.
you're not in on this. You're the impartial judge.
All right.
see.
Unless Wilson
Unless we want to
hits 3
leave
home
that to
runs
somebody
today.
else to be the impartial judge.
Well, if Wilson hits 3
Lawrence.
homers, then Lawrence can be the judge.
That's called hedging your bet, I believe, actually.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. Something like that, Luke.
Illegal. It's one of those.
What do we
It's
got?
one of those
3-12
gambling terms.
start today. 3-12.
Yeah. 3-12. What a weird.
Hey, Chicago 3-1-2.
It's because it's opening day.
3-1.
Oh yeah, it's
Pirates.
opening day for the
4 minutes
Pirates.
extra.
Yeah.
Don't tell Garrett Cole if they go 4 minutes over.
When's the watch party in Wrigleyville? Niren wants to know. Oh, we're working on that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Jack's money line, Cubs money line is his lock.
We will be hosting a watch party at Corey's apartment. Just stay tuned for the address.
I think we should go look at the apartment before we decide anything.
Stay tuned
there,
for the
like-
address. We will be blasting it on
before we-
Craigslist.
Before we give out his address over the interwebs, I think we should hold off on that, and we should also see, what he's got going on there. We don't know.
I mean, I dropped him off a couple weeks ago because it was pouring rain.
Get a look?
And yeah, I mean, it looks like he lives in a nice spot. So
Nice.
Awesome.
So not like
I don't know if we can fit a ton of people in there, but
there's not a lot of jars with formaldehyde on the shelves and stuff. Just making sure.
It's a normal
We'll
apartment.
discuss
Looks like a
with
normal
Corey.
place.
It's a normal guy. Good to know Corey is a normal person.
That's good to know. All right, thanks for dropping in to check out the CHGO Cubs pregame show. We're back here after the game, and we hope you'll hang out with us then. We'll see you then.